Oh, am I live? Yeah, sorry. Hi Facebook, it's Michelle again, Michelle from the People's Partner, and over a series of weeks I'm going to be sharing with you GDPR in its simplest version. I was back on here about 2 days ago just sharing some information about the difference between a data processor and a data controller, and it's really important to know which camp you fall into. Do you own the data, or are you the person processing the data? And sometimes you may be both, and you have obligations and responsibilities, which I'll be able to share with you. Hi, whoever's on, say hello, please. So today, I want to keep these sessions to 2 to 3 minutes, no longer than that. And today I wanted to talk a little bit about consent, because I'm finding that that's freaking a lot of people out. So just in its simplest form, the consent is, so for example, if somebody opts into you, hi Pamela, hi, if someone downloads your ebook, you know, you might have an ebook, you might have an audio or something, somebody clicks on to receive that. What should happen is consent saying, hi, thank you for downloading this, hope you enjoy it. Please tick that you want this item. If you wish to use their email address or their data to follow up and then put them on your email list, you need to have another line of information or another request asking if it's okay for them to be added to your mailing list. That's commonly known as a double opt-in. Now, all consent and all opt-ins have to follow a certain criteria. They all have to be very clear. It's got to be unambiguous. It has to be freely given and informed. So, for example, you cannot coerce somebody into signing up to your mailing list. For example, I'll give you a recent and true example. I was with an organisation and they said, oh, what I'll do then is say, if you don't please sign up with us. But if you don't sign up, you're going to miss all the goodies. You're going to miss all of, whatever he was offering. I can't say what he was offering. But so basically he was almost, bribing, coercing somebody to sign up to the mailing list. You can't do that. You can't do that. It has to be freely given. People need to know that, okay, yes, I do choose to be a part of this mailing list. They shouldn't be bribed. They shouldn't be coerced, and it cannot be general. The consent has to be freely given. It has to be informed. It has to be accurate. It has to be very clear and free from ambiguity. All right? Hi, Eddie. Hi. Yes, thank you. So that's the first thing around consent. So the simplest thing you can start doing now is speak to your web developers or whoever does your website, and make sure you have that line of information just put in there when people download a particular ebook or an audio or a lead gen magnet that you might have. Another form of consent is for existing data, people you already have on your mailing list. Now, you may have acquired them from all different means, and they may have opted in before, or you might have just known somebody, you met them at a networking event and put them straight on your list. What you need to be doing now is going back to all of them. The best way to do is actually send out an emailer on your mailing list. And literally, hi Darren, nice to have you on here, guy. And the best thing to do is just to email and say, with respect with the new GDPR laws that are coming into effect, we are now obliged to check that you still want to be a part of this mailing list. Please opt in. So allow them to tick a box. If the box remains unticked, they don't want to be on your mailing list. Or if you have another box which says, I don't want to be a part, they don't want to be a part of it. Try contact me when you're done. Okay, we'll do. And I think a lot of companies, a lot of small organisations, small businesses are worried that if they start going back to historical data, people who are already on their mailing list, and asking for explicit permission, that a lot of people are going to opt out. But fine, that's fine. I was even worried with that myself. But the truth of the matter is, if they decide that they don't want to be on your mailing list, at least you know that the people who are on there are your engaged targets. These are people that want to hear more, that want to know more, want to know when you're speaking next, want to get more information from you. Whereas other people, they were just in it because you brought them in, or at the time they downloaded something and wanted it, but didn't necessarily want to be on your mailing list. So the benefit of this opt-in and consent is that you have only people who are engaged, who want to be a part of what you have to offer. So that's the benefit. So I don't want people to see this whole thing as a way that your mailing list will shrink. A lot of people's going to shrink. I'm sure mine will shrink as well. But that's a risk I'm going to take. But at least I know that the people that I have, they're engaged. They want to be a part. God, my sunlight from my conservatory blinding me. They want to be a part of what I've got to offer, and they want to know more. So that's the first thing. Hi Kamal. So don't feel like people don't want to be a part of you. That's just a process. Now I'm looking at the time. I said I'm going to keep it to 3 minutes. Last thing I wanted to share. Now, I know there's a lot of speakers on my page, and I'm in a lot of groups of speakers. One of the things I really need to get across before I go is that back in the day, I don't know if people still do it, but back in the day, people used to negotiate and ask for mailing lists if they're not getting paid to speak. There's lots of models out there, and one of the models that's currently out there is, okay, so you can't pay me to speak. God, I'm getting hot. You can't pay me to speak. Can I get a list of all the attendees? That, my dear, cannot work. Come the 25th, remember, let's get it really clear. GDPR is already in place, but it becomes enforceable on the 25th. Now, it's relying on the customers and the consumers to report any breaches, or if any of the business owners see it. So, for example, if I've spoken at an event, I didn't get paid for it, and I said, please, can I have the mailing list? The event organizer gives me the mailing list, so I've added them to my MailChimp. This is wrong. You cannot do it anymore. So you need to find a new negotiation tactic, but that tactic is now obsolete. So please don't do that, because it's happened to me. I've gone to an event and somebody else one of the other speakers were at the event and started emailing me. I never opted in. I never gave explicit consent. So it has to end. Just reading. Key challenge, this is from Kamal. Key challenges for us is between record retention. Do we go for status or limitation of 6 years and 5 years? Actually, I will be speaking about retention in more depth. There's different retention models, and as long as you can give a justifiable reason and a proportionate reason why your business needs to keep it longer than a certain amount of time, then you can do that. But this is in your audit trail, and when you're doing your audit assessments, these are the kind of things you need to be keeping records of and why you need. For example, I do HR, so statutory, I need to keep certain records for a certain amount of time. As long as I can document why I am retaining this data, even after the person has left, I'm fine. I'm complying with GDP legislation. So, for example, if somebody leaves an organisation, I only now retain the basic information so that I can give a standard reference for that person. And once I've done that, all I keep is that their name, all I keep is their name and when they worked. I don't need to keep anything else after they've left and after I've given a reference. So those are basic retention methodologies, but we'll talk more about that. Yeah, so that's it. My 3 minutes are done. So today was about consent. So I will, I've written just some copy about what I spoke about today. Please, speakers, do not negotiate anymore to get a list of people who attended events as a thank you for not being paid. Get paid for your speaking gigs. That's the first thing. And make sure, guys, that your opt-in and your consent is explicit, it's unambiguous, it's clear, you're not coercing, and it's not general. Allow people to opt in rather forcing them to opt out. All right, hopefully that was helpful. I'll see you again in another 2 days. I'm not doing this every day because I'll have to put my wig on every day, and I don't wear my wig every day. So I see you in another 2 days. Take care. Hope it was useful.